And to details, President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi arrived back home on Wednesday after participating in the 31st Arab Summit in Algeria. Earlier on Wednesday, in his speech to the summit, President el-Sisi reiterated that the Arab Summit is considered a recall for Arab nationalism and unity, and called for an integrated efforts to deal with the current challenges and crises that face the Arab region. The President also asserted Egypt's keenness to take all necessary measures to stop bloodshed and foreign intervention in Arab countries that have conflicts. President el-Sisi also called for supporting the joint Arab action towards the Palestinian cause to reach a settlement that preserves the Palestinians' rights. The President also tackled the Libyan crisis, where he stressed the need to reach a political solution based on establishing state institutions and eliminating foreign intervention. President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi held talks on Wednesday on his Algerian counterpart Abdelmajid Tebboune in Algeria on the sidelines of the Arab Summit. During the meeting, President el-Sisi thanked the Algerian president for the generous welcome and hospitality and praised the distinguished and friendly ties binding the two countries. President el-Sisi also stressed that Egypt seeks to foster bilateral relations and expand horizons of joint cooperation in all fields. For his part, Tebboune expressed appreciation for Egypt's leadership and people, pointing out Egypt's achievements in the fields of development, security and stability. The Algerian president hailed the strong and solid relations between Egypt and Algeria and asserted the importance of bolstering coordination over several issues of common concern. He also expressed his country's keenness on boosting cooperation in the economic and trade domains during the coming period. Also on sidelines of Arab Summit, President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi met with Tunisian President Kais Saied. During the meeting, President el-Sisi affirmed that the strengthening of historical ties between Egypt and Tunisia, adding that Egypt is keen on enhancing bilateral relations between the two countries. The President also affirmed Egypt's full support to Tunisia's development and reform process. Meanwhile, the Tunisian President praised the bilateral relations on the strategic partnership level and praised Egypt's vital role regionally and internationally for preserving their regional security and stability. He also reiterated that Tunisia seeks to benefit from the successful Egyptian experience in implementing developmental projects as well as the comprehensive economic reform. Also on sidelines of the Arab Summit, President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi met with Iraqi President Abdel Latif Rashid. During the meeting, President el-Sisi praised the strength of the Egyptian-Iraqi relations. President el-Sisi also expressed keenness to push forward joint cooperation and asserted Egypt's constant stance towards Iraq to support its unity and sovereignty and to achieve security and stability on its territories. For his part, the Iraqi President hailed Egypt's efforts in supporting his country at all levels and stressed keenness to boost relations with Egypt in various domains during the coming period. Also on sidelines of the Arab Summit, President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi met with Jordan's Crown Prince Al Hussein bin Abdullah, where they discussed the bilateral relations between the two countries. During the meeting, the two sides stressed the importance to continue coordination and consultation between the two countries. The President also met with head of Yemeni Presidential Leadership Council, Rashad Al-Alimi, where they discussed the latest developments in Yemen as well as the bilateral relations between the two countries. President el-Sisi also met with Somalia's President Hassan Sheikh Mahmoud, where President el-Sisi stressed Egypt's full support for Somalia. The two leaders also discussed the bilateral relations between the two countries. Concluding the 31st Arab League Summit in Algeria, Arab leaders reiterated on Wednesday that the Palestinian cause is still central for them. The summit's final declaration pledged continued Arab support for the Palestinian cause. The leaders also agreed to hold the 32nd round of the Arab Summit in Saudi Arabia in 2023. The Arab leaders also agreed on ratifying an Arab strategy to enhance the Volunteering Action 2030 as a guiding document, beside ratifying an Arab Arab strategy to bolster Arab women action within the framework of the Sustainable Development Action. Additionally, the Arab leaders ratified the ministerial declaration over efficiency and equality between the two sexes for the sake of environmental and developmental sustainability. They also agreed on a mechanism to hold the fifth round of the Arab Economic and Social Development Summit in Mauritania in 2023. Prime Minister Dr. Mustafa Madbouli held a press conference following the Cabinet weekly meeting on Wednesday. Addressing a press conference after the meeting, Prime Minister Dr. Mustafa Madbouli said that the state is continuously following up the availability of food commodities as well as controlling markets to avoid overpricing and manipulation. The Prime Minister also noted that the recent decisions taken by the Central Bank of Egypt largely helped in the release of raw materials and production supplies needed for the industrial process in the country. The Alliance of Civil Forces on Climate Change was launched in Egypt in the framework of Egypt's hosting of the Climate Change Summit COP27. The alliance includes a number of Egyptian civil society organizations as well as international organizations working in Egypt who have observer status of the conference. The alliance will work to boost cooperation and communication with all local, regional and international organizations and alliances on climate change. And to details. The Egyptian bourses indices declined on Wednesday. The market's main index, EGX 30, was down 1.67% to reach 11,242.07 points. The equal weight index, EGX 70, declined 1.3% to reach 2,225.61 points. Meanwhile, the broader index, EGX 100, was down 1.33% to reach 3,242.78 points.